Hello everyone, welcome to the channel update for April. I hope everyone's March went as well as can be. The big news for the channel is that I have created a new channel, AuldDragon VODs. I did have an announcement video, and I don't want to go over everything that I said there, but basically, Twitch has implemented a cap on how many hours of content you can have on there highlighted. So I can't use it as a storage place for series that I either don't feel work very well on YouTube, or I wasn't happy with how it went, and just like and also for things that just have like content ID issues here on YouTube. So I can't do that anymore. So I've created a secondary channel, AuldDragon VODs, to get that old stuff that I want to keep. I want a record of its existence. I don't want it to just vanish into the ether. But this will be a place for it. Content ID stuff is not something like that's still going to be a problem that I have to deal with, and I will talk about that in a moment. But old content that never made it over to YouTube, that is going to be going up here on the AuldDragon VODs. And the main reason for creating the secondary channel is that aggregate views are a real important metric for YouTube to decide on promoting a channel or not. So VOD content always gets lower views, and that kind of brings down your channel statistics overall. So that's the key thing. I knew these old streams would not get as many views. I mean, you can see that the Spelljammer streams already are not getting the views that they were. One day ago, Yakuza Like a Dragon stream session 9 only has 7 views. It is a 6-hour block of video. I get it. Some of this, like, you can't watch all of that in one day. I totally understand that. A lot of this is for future viewing. I don't expect people to be jumping on these 6-hour chunks of videos right away. But I want it here. I want it someplace so that people who do want to see me play Yakuza Like a Dragon can now watch it. And it isn't just lost to the ether like it would be over on Twitch. So that's the key. To have the secondary channel to host things that don't do as well. If I do a Let's Play and it starts like just really tanking on views, I could put it here instead, kind of thing, perhaps. Like, that is a thinking. Like, there's a reason why I haven't done the Banner Saga 3, because the Banner Saga 1 and 2 were like I'd have to go back and look, but there was a point where like astronomically bad compared to everything else that I had done to a point. There's probably some things that have done about as poorly, but I can't think of them offhand. It was just like something that I really noticed. Like when I did those, just relatively few people watched them compared to everything else that I was doing. So that's why I've never done Banner Saga 3. That is a possibility for a stream at some point, because I do want to play it. I do want to see how it goes, how the story unfolds and everything like that. But that's the kind of thinking there. I don't anticipate doing that because uh, like the main channel is still going to be the main channel, and that is the channel for Let's Play content. But that's kind of like, if there's anyone that you followed and they started a game and it just stopped, it petered out, and they never did it, never finished it or anything like that. That is probably one of the reasons why. I mean, they may have just lost interest in things like that. I mean, that can happen for sure. But any big channel that's really paying attention to their numbers, like I definitely know of some channels that they started doing something, and within just hours they were like, nope, deleted it all. Like, because if they were expecting, like, let's say 1,000 hours in the first, 1,000 views in the first, so many hours, and it only got 250, that's a pretty good sign to them that it's not holding their viewers' interests, and that's a problem for channel growth. And they may have stopped it for that reason. I don't play I'm not paying that much attention to the numbers. I'm not big enough. When you're a small channel, the numbers get it gets muddy in how much things are affecting it. But putting the VOD content now on this other channel, hopefully will start increase the growth rate of my channel. That's the hope right now. And even if it doesn't have a big difference, it is still it should still help a little bit. So that's what's going on with that whole thing. Because I've had some questions both on the Discord and during streams and on the updates and things like that. So that's it's all analytics related concerns. But the big thing is that I want to put up things that I didn't think would do well on YouTube. Now I have a place where I can put things up that it doesn't matter if they don't do well, kind of thing. So there's that. It is possible that I still put some things here on the main channel in the future from streams that I know will do well or I feel will do well. So I'm not hard lining that stuff out, but most streams for sure are going over there now. But the good news is that there will be some old stuff that people may not have seen that may feel fresh. We'll see. But do give that a subscription and watch some of the content. I would really appreciate it. We are over a quarter of the way to 1,000 subscribers, so that's very, very good. But that is in very much an initial surge from the announcements and things like that. So I do expect that to peter out, but hopefully I can get to 1,000 subscribers within a couple months. Given the size of the VODs, the videos and everything like that, it shouldn't take more than that to get the 4,000 hours watched. We're well on that way now, so and it's just going to go up. So I would really, really appreciate it if people could give that a subscription. Now, there is a related thing back on the main channel that because of everything that happened with Twitch, I had to put in a lot of time fixing one particular series, and many of you probably know what I'm getting at. One particular series that has been mostly unviewable here on YouTube, but completely viewable over on Twitch. And that is the XCOM Files. That is 258 sessions, although the early ones got broken up, whereas these later ones I ended up just putting up the full streams. Right now, we're at 256 out of 258 videos are available. The problem videos are 224 and 239, and they're stuck in processing. I have opened a ticket with YouTube, but I may have to re-upload those because they are they're I think there's something wrong. They're not processing, and I may have to just upload them. Unfortunately, there's no revert option when that happens, so I don't know. I'm gonna try it a little bit more, but it's 224 and 239. They're definitely those are still on Twitch, and I could always just leave those on Twitch, but for now they're there's not a whole lot that I can do other than re-uploading or something like that, which I'd rather avoid if possible. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I've been using the YouTube tools to erase some of the audio. I had done that early on, but it frequently failed and didn't do a very good job. This was 4 years ago when I originally put these up and they started getting content ID. The One of the reasons why this became such a problem is because it was only like 6 months after I was completely done that the track that was used on the Geoscape became an issue. The rights holder, I'm sure, saw all the people playing the XCOM Files and putting up these videos on YouTube and was like, they're using our video. All right, now we're going to stop, put our foot down on this. That meant that like large chunks of many of these videos had content ID music. I've been running the erase song option as much as I could, and it works pretty well for my spot checking. I did have a huge number of videos to run this on, so I have not by any stretch like watched through and seen how it comes out. But the current version seems pretty good. And it is, like, the irony is that some of the content ID matches are on audio that it tried to fix before and didn't really work. So that's kind of the irony. So it, like, the audio quality is going to fluctuate wildly through these episodes, and I did have to mute sections. A lot of them were, like, sometimes I got lucky and it was like, step back for a second. The process only works, the erase song option only works when there's 4 matches or fewer. If you got 5 matches, it won't let you use the erase song. You got to mute one of those, and that's kind of where the problem is arising with these 2 last remaining videos. So basically, and it doesn't matter about the length of those matches. Like, it could be 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds, and it's like, nope, can't do it. But you could have a video with 4 matches, and it's like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes. Oh yeah, sure, we'll do that. And it's silly. It says there's a technical limitation. It isn't. They've just arbitrarily put a hard cap there. I'm sure that it takes, processing power, and these 2 videos that are stuck, indicates that there can be issues, but yeah, some of the ones that I had to mute, like I was going through, I was like, all right, this just has some of the music here. It's 10 seconds long. I can mute it, or it's like 20 seconds long. I say 1 or 2 words, or like, let's go check this base, kind of thing. I'm like doing inventory management or something like that. And it's like, fine, whatever, mute that. And so, like, ultimately, the thing is like, that I'm trying to point out is that the audio quality is going to be really iffy on a lot of these videos. I did the best I could. Sometimes I had to choose between, like, I always tried to, if I was muting anything, I was always trying to mute the shortest section possible. And there, are definitely times when I was like, do I mute this 1 minute thing or this 1 minute 15 thing? Which one has less impactful comments? So, I did, on videos where I had to do that, I did make sure that if I could, I turned on subtitles. So the subtitles hopefully should still be there on those sections, so you can see what I was saying. Hopefully. I don't know how much that's really gonna be true, but at least almost all the videos are currently available, are currently watchable, to varying definitions of watchable. Well, they are all there. And the 2 problem videos are still on Twitch, although there are some others as well, and I'd need to go through and really make sure, like, I just was like, all right, it's in this block of videos, and leaving these up is fine, because I'm still going to be able to do other stuff. I'm down below the 100 hours. So it's like, that's kind of where it was. But you know, at least it is mostly now watchable. Took a lot of time to get there, and you can kind of see like roughly where it happened, because like you know, just down here. I mean, this is the final video, so that's why it has so many views. But here, like 100, 400, 100, 100, 261. So you can kind of tell at what point the video got blocked, kind of thing. At a point when about 100 viewers had gone through the playlist. A few got blocked later and stuff like that, but yeah. So at least 256 out of 258 are currently available, and I am going to do what I can to get those last two available as well. I do have the hard copies around, so I can still upload them. I'm not very knowledgeable or skilled at local video editing, so if I were better, I could probably try to erase the tracks locally. And I do have all of my hard copies. So if it gets, like, if some of them are really bad, again, I need feedback from people who actually watch them rather than me spot checking them. I started making a list of the videos with the timestamps of the content ID matches, but it was huge. Huge. So I really do not have the ability, without going back and rewatching them all entirely, to know how they are. So viewer feedback would be very much appreciated. Let me know, like, if there are any videos that are just like, this feels like a wash, it feels like a waste. Let me know. Maybe there's something I can do with some of them, but I also have to figure out exactly where I have put those hard copies. They're on a hard drive somewhere. So, but they're around. They're somewhere. But I don't, like that's all. Hopefully I won't have to do anything like that, but we'll see. Anyway, so that's kind of the maintenance side of the channel. In terms of where our current Let's Plays are, Final Fantasy VII, I have finished recording. I finished that this weekend. That is all done. Got about a little bit over a week left of that. Then we'll be playing something new. Daggerfall, of course, is going to be going on for quite a while. I am having a leisurely run through that game, enjoying myself quite a bit. But that is, I'm not rushing the storyline quests at all. I kind of want to explore out the various quests that I haven't done before, so there's that. Suikoden 1 has replaced, Suikoden 1 HD Remaster has replaced Xenoblade Chronicles 2 as the stream game. I want to like Xenoblade Chronicles more than I do, because the story, I think, is very good, but the combat, I think, is very bad. And obviously, like, I'm sure there's people who enjoy it, who probably enjoy that more than something like Suikoden or Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest or something like that. Those are more my speed. I like those. I like that kind of combat better. There's a strategic element to that, whereas there is no strategic element to the Xenoblade Chronicles combat that I am able to make use of. There's too much information coming my way to process. Like, I don't think anyone else is actually processing all of this information either. It's information overload. It is impossible to really know what is doing better other than, like, watching the hit point bar on an enemy and seeing if it goes down faster. But that's a very poor way of doing it. I think. Anyway, so I don't want to rant about it because I've certainly talked about it enough during those streams. The combat is just not for me, but I do like the stories and I do want to see where they go. So I will be playing eventually Xenoblade Chronicles X and Xenoblade 3, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but I needed something else in between. They're long games, and that's the other thing is like games need to be shorter these days. I'm not sure how far into Suikoden 1 I am. I don't remember. I think I'm like a third of the way in after 2 streams. Maybe only a quarter. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't really remember. Like, uh, it's not a long game though. It is not a long game. Most games of that era were not long games by comparison to today. So anyway, game makers need to make more games like these. Like Square Enix, like I haven't cared about Final Fantasy, like a new Final Fantasy, since 12. I know a lot of people like 14, and that's fine. Like that's it's a little bit like it's a numbered Final Fantasy, but it's not. You know, like it doesn't fit the thing. 11 didn't either. It's out on its own. It would function better as a Final Fantasy Tactics kind of thing. You know, it's got the name. It's in the franchise. It's not one of the main lines, just because of how that works. But 13, 15, and 16, I forgot that 16 even came out. And it was like, oh yeah, they were doing that. Oh, that came out. Huh. Whatever. That's bad. Like, this is one of the premier fantasy JRPG franchises. I don't know how it sold. I don't know how it got reviewed. I don't know. I don't care. Because, like, I do now, you know, like every time it comes up, I remember, oh yeah, I glanced at it and was like, eh. You know? That's bad. And I worry that that's going to be how Dragon Quest 12 is. Because they're going away from the turn-based combat. That's not, like, that was a bad move on the Final Fantasy side, I think. I really think that Square should do a Gaiden style offshoot of the Final Fantasy franchise. Brand new stories, brand new worlds, make them like Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy VI. You know, that style, make them like the Pixel remasters, obviously, or the HD 2D Dragon Quest III kind of thing. Give us those games. I mean, they like Live Alive. I mean, it's a remake, but it's amazing, and I want to go play Octopath Traveler because of how much I enjoyed that and how they, the team who worked on that, worked on Octopath Traveler. So, eventually I'll get to it, but like I would be excited if there were a Final Fantasy whatever that was gonna. They were like, it's a 40-hour game, takes place in a new world, new characters, basic Final Fantasy, original early Final Fantasy game mechanics. Give us jobs or give us characters with classes. Give us summons. Like make it like a standard or early NES, SNES Final Fantasy. Do a line of those. You need like a tenth of the people or a hundredth of the people who work on Final Fantasy 15 and 16. Sell it for $40. I'll buy that. Give me that game. That's what I want. Give me one of those every 2 years or every year, and I'm going to be a happy Final Fantasy camper. And more companies just need to do that. You don't need to do these gigantic... Like, everyone's trying to do a bigger game. No! No one has time for that crap anymore, and you can't compete with the ones that have already hit. Like, a game that someone has put 1,000 hours in, and they could easily put another 1,000 hours in, you're not going to be taking that away from them by... You're not going to You're not going to kill that. You're not going to have a Fortnite killer or whatever, you know? You're just not. Like, those games are like a once-in-a-generation type thing. Try them occasionally, sure, you know? But have these other games, these other small games that are giving you like, they're doing well enough to keep everything else afloat to make sure that a big failure like that doesn't hurt. Yeah, that's what you should be doing. Don't make like they're always trying to make the gigantic game that is a smash hit that everyone buys, everyone plays, and everyone keeps playing. They buy all the DLC and they buy, they keep pumping money into it, and it just like makes bank for them. No, you need to have the solid small hits that make their money back and then some, and everyone is just happy about. You need to have those in there. And they're not. They're trying to do the movie thing. Like, you don't get those mid-budget movies anymore that make their budget back and a profit kind of thing. Everyone's trying to make the gigantic blockbuster that makes bank. And honestly, most of the time, that's all luck, you know? It's a confluence of so many different factors that you can't really truly control or predict. Same thing with the games. But you can predict a mid-budget thing that does well. You give me another game like Final Fantasy V, Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy VI, new characters, new story, brand new soundtracks, a bit of nostalgia to the old stuff. Boom, you got a sale from me. Probably day one. I'd be excited about that. And it's not just nostalgia. I mean, it's not just like there is going to be some nostalgia, but knowing that I can go in and I'm going to be done with that in 40 hours, 50 hours, something like that. I mean, maybe even more like Final Fantasy IX length. You know, 200 hours, but even that, like, there's a lot of just extra junk that's worthless in that game. Honestly, not as a criticism. There's a lot of just extra stuff in that you don't need to do. That's kind of pointless that I think should have been cut out. There's something coming up that I will be pointing out about. It's there. And like, you don't even need like guide dang it things. Things that require you to have a guide to find them and stuff like that. Don't do that. Just have a good, solid game. Put in some secrets, obviously, that people who explore the world are going to find. Basic mechanics that are easy to understand, but not super easy to manipulate. That's kind of the thing that you want to do. Make us more early, NES, SNES Final Fantasy games. Same thing with Dragon Quest, honestly. Like, I'm kind of dreading 12. We don't know anything about it other than the fact that they're going away from the turn-based combat. But I mean, to be fair, they probably do pretty well with like the Dragon Quest monsters and stuff like that. But I haven't actually played any of those. I probably will eventually, but for now, like, that's why, like, I'm excited to actually get to Final Fantasy III HD, 2D HD remake or whatever. I can never remember how that phrase works. You just give us more games like that. That's what we want. Maybe I'm just old and cranky. I don't know. Anyway. Over on Zerfall's channel, we have been playing the Briley Witch Chronicles, a witchy kind of JRPG-ish recent C64 game that has been fun. It's very cute. Do check that out if you haven't. Highly recommend that. That has been fun for us to play through. And stream-wise, of course, we still have Spelljammer and all of the LEGO build streams going on as well. I will still be maintaining playlists for all of these things. I did, like I have gotten in Yakuza Like a Dragon into console RPGs and stuff like that. But the videos themselves are, of course, going to be on the VODs channel. So that's basically where we are with YouTube right now and Twitch. Of course, your support does mean a lot, especially with where we are right now, with having this, having to create the secondary channel. That is going to lead to a lower income stream for me going forward until that gets monetized. And even then, like, those videos would get more views on the main channel, but because they get lower views in general on the main channel, putting them off someplace else where fewer people see them is still better for the main channel. Unfortunately, I hate that it is that way. I really, really do. Like, if you think about it, if you have to create a secondary channel for other stuff rather than being able to, like, obviously, like, if I streamed Lego as Lego Dragon and gaming as Ald, like, two different, like, obviously people who would watch both of them would understand that I'm the same, that they're the same person, but they're created as, like, different personas, different entities, so to speak. That would be a way that you might want to split things up. Something that's completely separate that you want to keep separate. Like if I had a politics channel, I would have that as something different. I could do a cooking channel, and that could be, you can separate those things. But if you aren't doing them separately, if you're doing the things as the one persona, it's just like, hey, I like these things. I like video games. I like Lego. I like Dungeons and Dragons. Here, come view all of my loves. That if you then have to like separate these out, I mean, I know people also do this with like streaming. I could do that for streaming. I could have a D&D stream Twitch channel. I could have a Lego Twitch channel. I could have the game Twitch channel. That's a lot of extra effort, and I don't know that it would really be great. I mean, like, basically the idea is that people who might be there for your game content, some people might be like, oh, he's also doing these other things that I don't care about, and that's just too much, so I'm not going to watch it all. Like, there is a worry about that, but if you don't care, but you still have to separate out these things because of the arbitrariness of how the algorithms work, that, in my opinion, is a sign that it doesn't work properly. It doesn't work as it should, because it shouldn't matter. Like, if someone loves my Let's Play content, but they hate Lego, they just, like, I hate Lego. I don't want to hear about Lego. They should be able to, like, ignore my Lego videos, like have a toggle or something like that, or use the tag system, which they don't use anymore, really. And be like, yeah, just hide all the Lego stuff. And I don't want to see that in my subscription feed. And like you can, silo it out that way, allow viewers to silo it out, and then not have it affect the algorithm and things like that. That would be better. As it is, if it's like, you have to go do, jump through all of these hoops to try and not have the algorithm do all this stuff, that's a sign of a bad algorithm. The algorithm needs to be altered, in my opinion. You shouldn't have to segment out your life because of a computer system like that. That's just bad. But that's where we are. And it's very unfortunate, I think. It's very, very unfortunate. But at this point, neither here nor there. This is just what we have to do right now. So please do consider giving those a subscriptions and watch the videos. It really does mean a lot to me. And for those who are already, a member here on the YouTube channel, They are a subscriber over on Twitch. They are a member of the Patreon, or just doing the something like Ko-fi or any of the other one-off things, bits, gift subs, super thanks, all of that. It really does mean a lot. I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Your names are scrolling by for the patrons down below. It really does mean a lot. Unfortunately, the Patreon growth has lagged and actually gone backwards a bit, and that I totally get it. People, especially right now, people are worried about financial situations. A major recession is probably coming, not just to the U.S. but elsewhere. But if you do have a few bucks you can spare, please do consider helping me out and keeping content going. That is what it takes for me to continue to produce these videos, publish them, and make them available for you for your entertainment, which, especially in this day and age, is a great way of just, having some time to just, get away from all the real crap going on. That's why it's one of the reasons I continue to do this, knowing that people need the escape. I am trying to provide some of that escape where possible with the streams. Come out to the Lego, hear me talk about Lego pieces and Lego piece history and other random stuff. Come out to the Spelljammer game and hear me try my hardest to kill off the player characters with giant turtles. Come out to the game streams and hear me complain about game mechanics in Xenoblade. Really do appreciate it. Thank you all very much for all the support. And for those who are, like me, worried about the direction of both the United States or other countries, there's a lot you can do. Make sure you vote. There are a lot of special elections and local elections coming up in the next year or so here in the United States. Obviously, other countries are in a similar situation. Find the things that you can do to stand up to the forces of anti-democracy. If you're comfortable with it, get out and protest. If you're not, there are other things you can do. Make sure you're calling your representatives. Whether you're an American or not, that is their job. They are there to represent you. Obviously, it is not a situation where you call them and they immediately change their positions, their voices, whatever. But again, it's an aggregate. They represent you and all of your other, all the other constituents in the area. If everyone is calling and everyone is taking a position and they're in opposition to that, then they're going to lose their seat. They're going to lose the next election, either the primary or the general, and that is hugely, hugely important to hold that over them. So not only call them, or, again, not everyone's comfortable with phone calls, emails, faxes. If you're even more comfortable with in person, you can go to their offices and try to make appointments with them, or at least with their staff and things like that. Show up in person. That, these are impactful. Showing that you're angry and you want them to do something, that goes a long way. Do not give into doomerism, into nihilism, into, giving up. That is how the forces of anti-democracy win. They count on people giving up. And do not give up. It is hard. I know. I mean, I am, my mental health is terrible for a variety of reasons, and this is part of it, but I struggle all the time against that the giving up element. It is really tough. Being depressed in this day and age does not help at all in resisting, authoritarianism. But I'm trying, and I'm calling on everyone else to also try. Um, Nothing happens immediately, and it sucks. It feels like so much bad stuff is happening so fast, and it is. But there are forces in opposition. Uh, Protests. If you're comfortable with that, get out there and protest. Find a protest against a Tesla dealership. Find a protest, near a government facility. Or if you're outside of the U.S., protest outside an American embassy. You know, like show your support for the Americans who love democracy. If you're an American, of course, show your support for the federal workers who are being fired indiscriminately. Show your support for your fellow man, your fellow lowercase d democracy advocate, and support democracy. It's very, very important right now. And it is very important that we continue to fight. Lawsuits are in progress, and they are working in many cases. Again, like, that's one of the natures of authoritarianism, is that it is fast. It moves fast. It breaks things. That's bad. There are forces that move against it, and it is going to take a lot of time to fix things. But we can succeed if we try. And that's the important thing. Don't give up. Don't lose hope. Like, that's the important thing. I still have hope. I still believe in, the promise of America that has been tarnished and absolutely shat upon, and is being, destroyed by internal forces. But it is an idea, and they can only take the idea from you if you let it. They can only take these things from you if you let them. So please do not lose hope. Do not lose heart. Do not give in. Do not give in advance either. It's very, very important. It is so, so important. And most of all, go vote. If you know anyone who has not voted, try to convince them to vote. It is so, so important. Not just in a general election, in a primary election too. If you're not happy with your representatives, tell them that you're looking at primary opponents. You're considering a vote against them in the primary, because that's going to scare them, and they're going to be more likely to listen to the angry voices coming their way if those voices are saying, you need to listen to us or you are not going to be in office anymore come next election. It's very, very important. And when your representatives do something that is good, we had a senator just spend like 15 hours speaking in the Senate. Call up your, if that's your senator, call them up and say, hey, thank you. I appreciate that. More of it, please. If you have another senator, say, support them. Do what they're doing. I want to see more of that from you. They need to be leaders. They're supposed to be leaders. They need to lead, and many of them are not. The minority right now, and they need to be doing so. So that's the last thing, is do not lose hope. Do not give in, and do what you can. It's not taking it all on yourself. Do not take it all on yourself. You can only do so much. You're only one person. But that's the thing. When a lot of people get together and move at once, they are more powerful than even the wealthiest person in the world. So I want to thank you all for all of your support. I really do appreciate it. And I will talk to you guys next time. See you then, everyone.